prefer our right hand over our left hand, at least most of us, about 90% of us. In true evolutionary biology fashion, we don't yet have an answer to this question. But of course we have some theories, and I'm here to share some of them with you. Before we start, I have to mention that our brains are made of two hemispheres, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. The right hemisphere of our brain controls the left side of our body, and the left hemisphere of our brain controls the right side of our body. So why do we favor our right hand over the left one? One of the explanations is our species evolved to talk to each other, to use language, and also use tools. And both of these things, using language and using tools, manipulating tools, are activities deeply connected to the left hemisphere of the brain, which I mentioned controls the right side of the body. This is one of the reasons. Is humans the only species that prefer one side over the other? The answer to that is yes and no. Many mammals prefer their right side of the body, just like us, but none of it is as extreme as it is in humans. There is a reason horse race tracks are designed counterclockwise, because horses take a bigger step with their left legs. And it's seen that dogs prefer to take the first step with their right paws more than their left paws. Another answer to that question may be, as suggested from a scientist that works for United States Air Forces, is the baby stays head down in the womb, which leads to its left side being closer to the mother's internal organs. This leads to the left side getting more stimuli than the right side. So when the baby lefts the womb, its left side is more developed. And what does baby prioritize when it leaves the womb? His balance. He uses his left side of the body to improve his balance, and the right side is left for other things, like picking up a pen or throwing a ball. Another explanation is that to use both sides of our body close to each other, we have to have both hemispheres of our brain develop as much as each other, which needs more energy, uses more energy. The sole purpose of evolution is to not use energy if not needed to. This might be a reason why we use only right side of our body more efficient, because we don't want to spend all that energy on both hemispheres of our body. You don't only have a dominant hand, you also have a dominant leg, as we all know. But also we have dominant eyes and dominant ears. Our closest relatives do prefer one side, but as I said, they're not one-handed, they're not lefties or righties. They prefer one over each other. So I mentioned why there are more right-handed people than left-handed people. And these were pretty solid excuses for everyone to be right-handed. Why do we have 10% of the population preferring their left hand over their right hand? Well, the easy way out of this question is mutations. Our ancestors developed their left side of their brain, so they use right side of their body, but some of them had mutated genes, which led to them using their left side of the body. And how did they got so far? I mean, there's a thing called natural selection. If being right-handed is favored, why didn't people with left dominant hands die already and got their genes so far to us? Well, there is a basic explanation for that. When you look at the physical combat sports today, the statistics show that left-handed boxers and MMA fighters tend to win more matches than their right-handed opponents. This is mainly because every single athlete is used to combat with right-handed athletes, and they expect punches from certain angles. But when they face a left side dominant athlete, they get punches from angles they do not expect, which gives them an edge on physical combat. This is an explanation why our ancestors with mutated genes that favored their left side of their body over than the right side could be alive, could not die, and not be a victim of natural selection, and getting so far. I've mentioned every one of us having, just like our dominant hands, dominant ears, and dominant eyes. And you can actually test that. Let's say instead of talking so loud, I start to whisper. The ear you turn first to hear me better is your dominant ear. And just like you have a dominant eye, when you point to somewhere, you close your eyes once at a time, and you'll realize when you close one of your eyes, your finger will be misplaced. Now that very eye is your dominant eye. Just like there could be evolutionary reasons, and we're almost certain that dominant sides are a product of genes, which we could not know which exact gene it is. It could be of cultural reasons. I'm pretty sure most of you have been told to use utensils with your right hand or write with your right hand. This is because for centuries, left-handed people were thought to be even devil worshippers, witches. And everyone for centuries have been told to use their right hand over the other. This even presented itself in our language today. When we want to address someone having two dominant hands, using his right and his left hand, both equally same and equally efficient, we call that ambidextrous. Dexter means right in Latin. So we don't call them a person with two dominant hands. We call them a person that has two right hands. Also, when in English language, let's not go as far as Latin language, in English language, when you are not involved, you are left out, which is not so positive. And when you speak the truth, you are right. That's all I have for now. Thank you for your time.